Hello, everybody. Thank you for clicking on early on a Thursday night, first day of June in 2023. So we are getting close to halfway through 2023 already. And things starting to heat up weather wise. Temperatures are on the rise, at least where I'm at, and throughout much of the country. Peace, love, and sunshine. Good evening to you as well. Um, Supposed to be up into the mid 90s tomorrow, and then possibly into triple digits by the weekend, and then a slight cool down to like 89. So, going to have some heat for a while in some parts of the country. Some parts of the country, the panhandle of Texas, the New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma region right down there. Um, they've been just getting pummeled, storm after storm, tornado after tornado. And hello, peace, love, and unity. Thank you for being here as well. Um, it's, I don't know, we're in some weather patterns, supposedly massively strong frontal boundaries and pressure domes and all this. And um, I don't know. We'll see what unfolds as we move along. We hit 90 yesterday and today. Peace, love, and sunshine. Back in the basement. Hey Barry, tried going to bat for you about this entire GMJ issue and AI. Hope all is well with you. Thank you for that, G Abbott. As far as I'm not going to talk a whole lot about the um, John F. Johnson, aka Grandmaster J thing tonight. We got a couple more videos coming out. Um, and the videos will explain what that community is trying to do. And people are like, why are you helping that? Why are you helping that community? As a Christian, as someone who tries to practice the actual Christian principles, it's what we all should be doing, is trying to help each other. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Those videos are um, for information, for people that may want that information. And if you don't want that information, that video is not for you. Um, it's really not rocket science. It's actually really pretty simple. Here we go. It's time.
Hi, Barry.
I didn't even give you a countdown or an introduction or anything. Hi, Lori. How are you?
I could have been sitting over here picking my nose. You never know, and you could have caught me.
No, I looked and checked to make sure you weren't picking your nose. You were straightening your hair, making sure you looked good before coming on.
Well, people always accuse, there's a few of us that they accuse of, oh, they touch their hair all the time. And I dare anybody to sit and look at yourself for a while, because you got to see yourself here and not notice the hair sticking up and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. And
Do you do
especially
that?
live. Oh, well, yeah, of course. If I see, like right here, I got this thing going on right now, okay? And I need that back there. Okay. Otherwise, I look up and be like, oh man, look at that thing sticking out. I got to yeah. Um, it's and we're live. It's not like we can hit stop and record again and get it perfect every time. So yeah.
And you always notice your own stuff, but yeah, you always notice the hairs that stick out. I got a surprise for you. I wore another shirt. We
Oh, you
wore
did?
Damnation last time.
Yeah.
I got my doofus shirt
Ah,
on.
yay!
Don't be an American
Yay!
doofus.
Yay! Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I see. There we go.
Yes.
See,
Yes. There are only two of those in the world.
and I have one.
You have one. Yes. Yes, you've got the white one and I've got the black one. So,
Well, I really like this shirt. And
thank
it is a
you.
little big, so I like to wear it. Like you can wear it as a night shirt or whatever,
Yeah.
however you want to wear it.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you for
thank
wearing
you.
it. Hey, my pleasure. So, we got a lot to talk about tonight without me even pulling screens up, but I've got stuff to talk about as well. Um, let's start with Texas, where you're at,
Okay.
and the article. I've got it on my phone about drugs in the nursing homes.
Yeah. Now, I looked that up, and it was from 5 years ago, the actual article.
Okay,
But it hit home because I don't think this is something that has really changed much. I'll admit that I don't know, but I recently here in Texas, a friend of mine actually had their parent in a nursing home, and from their experiences that they went through and stuff, I would say we still have a long ways to go with all of this, but. Uh, the article was that back 5 years ago, 96% of Texas nursing homes admitted that they're giving drugs to residents who don't need them. And to explain that just a little bit, real quick, Barry, for people that don't know,
yeah,
what they're doing is they're shutting them up pretty much by drugging them. And one of the things that they were doing then was giving them drugs for schizophrenia, and that's actually a some of the drugs they were giving them are actually dangerous, side effects wise and stuff, but
right.
it had a side effect where it would sedate you. And so when they changed and tweaked the laws so that they could not give them that, they also started diagnosing them. Usually schizophrenia is something that is diagnosed when you're younger, and it's not something that you all of a sudden develop at 80 years old when you're in the nursing home. And so I mean, these kind of things are very concerning. And this article was actually done. It was a news. It wasn't even an article. I got it. WFAA, which is like a TV.
It's
It's a station.
Dallas, isn't it? Yeah, it's a local station. I think it's
The lady,
Dallas
a
Fort.
lady that wasn't quite as old, she was in her 60s, I believe, and she was there in a nursing home, and they were leaving her in really bad shape, and they were actually had tried to give her a medication, and she refused to take it because she didn't know what it was. Well, then she started noticing that she thought they were putting it in her drinks against, illegally. And so she called the news station, and they came down and they did drug testing. And sure enough, those schizophrenia medicine that she had refused to take a pill form, they were putting in her drink. And
Wow.
they were, yeah, against her will. Um, the way we talk about human rights in a lot of situations. And I think that's something that kind of got brought forth again when we had the shutdowns, and we had all the COVID stuff, because it affected our elderly, and we saw that sometimes some of the elderly were just not treated right during that time.
Right.
They weren't protected and stuff, and I think human rights. If you want to talk about human rights, somebody who has lived their whole life, we deserve better.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, now let's stay in Texas. Um, it seems like y'all are having trouble protecting your border, and the other states have to send their National Guard down to protect the Texas border. Is this a legitimate thing, or is this a political ploy by the other states to try to make it look like things are worse than they are?
Could
You're
it be?
in the state. I'm not in the state. I'm not on the ground, and you get info there on the ground. What's actually going on?
I haven't been to the border. Okay, so I haven't been
Okay.
there and seen anything with my own eyes. I
Okay.
will say I'm from a. I'm going to tell you, I'm actually from in Indiana. I'm from a little sanctuary city. That's what I lived in back in Indiana, and so we did have a higher population of illegals. And when I say sanctuary city, what I mean is that we gave them IDs. We made it so that they could get I don't want like services. They could, they're now giving them driver's license and stuff like that. So that to me, that was
Were they filling jobs that maybe others weren't willing to take? Is that part of it as
yes,
well?
that's part of it. It's not all one-sided on all this stuff. That's why I said it's both. Very, yes, there's a
Mhm.
problem, and yes, they're using it for political theater. It's
Okay.
both.
Yeah.
And it's like I know Texas's governor Abbott. He started something, the emergency management compact request, asking the other states, to come out. And I'm I want to throw that at you. I want to question, because I'm learning about all this stuff myself. I always thought the federal government was the one that is supposed to, take care of like the borders and it's stuff like that. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Or
By law, that is the way it's supposed to be. Supposedly, the National Guard that are going down there, they will have no authority to do anything other than just safely escort people. They're not going down there guns to shoulder and, I mean, so yeah, it's a lot of political theater. Um, and in all honesty, the governor of Virginia taking the Virginia National Guard down there, I would think the Virginia National Guard would be better served being on standby to back up protection for the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., which is on its border, actually, and not Mexico.
gotcha.
But um,
I
things are going,
I've been
the,
in, yeah.
the political,
Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say,
The political theater's going to escalate.
yes. Oh my God, it makes me so mad from both sides, because, like, I saw, and again, Governor Abbott from here, um, when he took people and sent them over to, was it Kamala Harris's
Yeah,
property
he sent him.
yard?
He sent him to. I think he sent them to D.C. and I think he sent some to New York, didn't he? And the governor of Florida did the same thing.
Yeah, to me, that's political theater. That's political theater at the expense of people, both citizens
Yeah,
and
that's
non.
also messing with people's lives. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they're screwing both. That's why it makes me so angry, because it's not just like an American thing. They're screwing the American people and they're screwing the people trying to get in the country, right? Both. They're messing with their lives. And it's horrible, the shit that's, I'm sorry, that's going on down there on the border. Some of this stuff, like with the child trafficking, the sex trafficking, with, I know there's drugs coming. I mean, there are problems down on the border. And there are people coming over illegally. I mean, and our system is so broke, though, and our politicians won't fix any of it, that we can't make a good, we need to really get in there and fix our immigration system so that it is easier. It's not as expensive. It doesn't take as long. It's easier for people to do it. We need to start dealing with our DACA, and getting these people, because let's be honest, a lot of these people have lived nowhere but other than this country. We need to start
Who
making
you're talking
pathways to
about?
citizenship.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
I was gonna say we need to just start taking care of this stuff, and instead I see like a lot of political theater where nobody really wants to do anything.
Can, what does it? You consider yourself on the right, correct?
I'm more right leaning. Not, I'm not
Right
on the
leaning.
right, but I'm more right leaning. Yeah.
Okay. What's it mean? what's it mean to be as someone that is right leaning? What's it mean to be someone on the left?
Democrats. These are the
Okay.
words that you would use to put the left: a socialist, um, um, liberal, all those terms. That's all the left, and the right is always the conservative Christian, and I don't know how to really describe it, but it's mostly by party line.
Okay. Is it really by party line though, or is it by faith? Um, is one of the factors faith?
I don't know
People that
because I've
consider,
met a lot of Christians that are Democrats. There's Christians that
yeah,
are the left.
yeah, I know there are. I'm well aware there are, but it seems to me like the right has a stance of we are the godly people. Anybody that not is not with us are demons, elves, warlords, um, voodoo unicorns, whatever. Uh, um,
Yes,
isn't faith a big divider as far as what it means to be right or left or Republican or Democrat?
right now, yes. But honestly, Christianity is, we're really talking about when we say religion right now, we're talking about Christianity. That's and it should be something, or it can be something that brings people together. It could be a divider.
Hmm.
It just depends on how it's used.
Yeah. What about race? Is race a and again, there are always going to be exceptions.
Yeah,
There, like you said, now some liberal Christians. Maybe before all of this, you may not have even considered the possibility Christian and liberal even go together. Race, there are going to be black people that are in the Republican Party
mhm.
and Hispanic, but for the most part, isn't race a
Minorities,
yeah?
they go with the left
Aren't
usually. Well, there's a good reason for that,
but
though.
aren't that I just want the
Yeah.
right's perspective.
Yes.
What you see talking to a lot of people on the right.
Hmm.
They look at
Yeah.
it that do they look at it that way?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
There's a lot of that, but it goes both ways. That's what's so crazy about it, because supposedly all people on the right are white supremacist Nazis too. So I mean, like we
Well, yeah,
divide
that's
each
a
other.
given.
Just given.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I mean, like if you look at any issue, any of these hot topic issues, it's very easy to try to think of the other people as evil instead of have to debate your opinion and stuff. You just put them in a morally
Oh
less than you
yeah.
care.
And that's what normally happens. That's why what we're doing is so important because at the end of this we're not going to hate each other. We're asking each other questions and
Yeah.
we're still going to at the end of it go I love you,
Yeah.
and we'll be see you next Thursday and you know but if we don't talk about some of these things nobody else is going to. And
Right.
if we do we might spur other channels to look, hey, this is what Lori and that stupid guy said, is this true? So I think it's important that we do these shows.
It is, and it's really. I came from a very conservative. I've done a lot of stuff with people on the right, back
Hmm.
home, and then I went through this little adventure, and I met a lot of people from the left, and I've been starting to really pay attention to what people are saying. And I'll be honest, both sides sound the same. They sound the same because they both think the same way and act the same way towards each other.
um, they both excuse things that their
Yeah.
side does
Yeah.
and condemn the other side for doing the exact same thing. um,
Yes.
or similar things. Um, yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, it's too bad because really the whole that's where we come down to when like people like me who like to protest. It's like it gets, well, wait a minute, what are the rules? I mean, like,
Yeah.
I want everybody to have the same rules.
Do you think that's what's going on J6 on the January 6th corner? Do you think they're that the rules are falling more in balance, or as to when it first started, it seemed like there were two completely different sets of rules. Now it's kind of like first come, first serve, regardless who was there yesterday. And we're seeing people, get arrested.
I hear everybody. Okay, I'll tell you what, man. Everybody's being treated really, in my opinion, about the same. They're both all getting screwed. I mean, like the the police are not on one side.
I don't think they
Seriously.
are either. But I don't watch it. I don't watch it. I watch Damnation to catch up on what's going on in that, because I don't. I got so involved in watching all that stuff, I wasn't getting anything else done. And
Well, I've been down there. I've met some of those
you
police
and I've talked
officers.
about, we've talked about all this.
You
So,
know the one that the Dr. Seuss one? Do you know who I'm talking about? He's the one. Okay.
no
Anyway,
idea.
anybody that watches that knows has watched The Corner will know who the Dr. Seuss one police officer
Okay.
is. But I remember when I was down there, and I can't remember if it was me and Golden Chariot or something, and we were I was on the sidewalk where everybody parks, and we were going back and forth. And somebody in my chat told me that he didn't have his registration wasn't up to date or something like that. So of course I said something about it, and the officer goes, I think his name is Riley, and he goes, well, your car's been sitting there running for over 5 minutes, and that's a rule here, is that law here is that you can't put your car on for what you really want me to start enforcing every little thing. And I said, no sir, I don't. Have a wonderful day. Because like seriously, at that point when you're officers down there, think about that. Every both sides are trying to get each other on every little thing. And
That's what I was just about to say. Isn't every little thing an actual, like a major victory, when you're actually in all of that?
kind of, yeah, yes, but you got to be honest at the same time, because like I've seen multiple assaults down there.
And you're talking about in person while you were there. You've seen these.
I've been assaulted down there, and I actually had the situation where I had went down there by myself, and this is at the beginning before all the
Did
screaming
you get
stuff started.
assaulted by boobs?
I got assaulted by tits. Yes, I got boob assaulted. Boob Tifa got me.
I'm sorry, it's not funny anybody getting assaulted.
Well, no, but well, it didn't hurt me. I mean, so yeah, like you can laugh about it. A lot of people are like, "Oh, that's not assault." Yeah, it is assault by boob.
Hey,
But you know what
yeah.
though? But seriously, I had the same thing. If anybody who watched it noticed that the police, when ants tried to everybody's tried to make police reports, and the police just don't listen to you. When you're actually assaulted, they will not listen to you. And I got assaulted right in front of the police officer, and I looked at him and he said, "Didn't happen. I just didn't happen." And I'm like, and they all turned their backs on me while I was saying, I want to put a police report. She just assaulted me. And they all turned their backs on me and would not talk to me. And that's what I
this
saw them
was
doing down to AP too.
this was with the boobs.
Yes. You can't
Okay.
put your hands on people or boobs.
Okay.
Boobs.
I'm a neutral observer and just getting
Barry, you can
clar-
admit that you wish that you could get assaulted by boobs. It's okay.
getting clarification. All
It's
right.
okay.
Okay. You said the same thing happens with AP.
Well, I
Um,
noticed it when I
was
was watching it.
this time just was this so blatant that they just couldn't avoid it, or
You want my honest opinion?
no? I want you to lie to me like you normally do.
Barry,
No,
I got my own little views on what's going down there because none of that makes sense down there on that corner. That nobody there in DC is paying attention to that, and nobody's stopping that. Like, there's so many little things they could have done to just stop it. And after all the assaults and all the, it, there's something
I
going on there. I really
I
believe that, and I don't know what it is.
I said a couple of months ago that somebody is wanting this to keep going on because it should have been stopped a very long time ago. But instead, it's now escalating. All right, while we're on the corner down there, um, Chinese people writing checks to protesters.
I don't know what to think about that. I all we ever hear about are Chinese spies and all this stuff, and now we've got Chinese people giving money to the protesters. At the same
Oh,
time, I'll say from like, okay, like people, I've had people from other countries come up to me, and this is before, even before the election, who were
hang on.
concerned about the direction of the country because they'd come from communist countries or countries like that, and they were concerned with that. So I get people who come from countries like that being very sensitive and wanting to join with the freedom movements. I get it, but I still am very suspicious of that group down there paying protesters.
Um, Washington Examiner 9 hours ago, thousands of Chinese spy balloons are hovering over American universities. I wasn't
Wow.
aware of that. Just, what we do here, give people things to think about. It's not like 10 or 20 spy balloons, we've got thousands of universities. Uh, and their spy balloons are up high enough, I guess they're out of our airspace. And
Oh, so we can't take care of them. Pop the
uh,
balloons.
hey, I don't know. I don't know. You know, I don't know. It just, every time I find out something like that, it just makes me wonder how many other things are there that we don't know.
I agree with you there. It's hard to
Okay.
know.
Um, yeah,
We
it's
talked
really
about
hard to
that
know.
earlier, just privately. Remember about how
Yeah,
when you find when you find that everybody's lying to you, you get to the point you don't know who to trust anymore.
right. Yeah, we did. Had about an hour long conversation on all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Serious. Yeah. See, for those that are watching, we don't just, all of us aren't just online all the time. Sometimes we actually talk offline. Not everything's online,
No, no.
as it should not be. You know what? Let me touch on that for a minute. Um, is the online world becoming too powerful? Is it kind of sucking people in and taking over their lives so that maybe they're not spending real life the way they ought to be spending it?
Oh, I think so. In a way, it's like we need it or we think we need it, but at the same time, it does take over. For all of us, I think are having to balance. You have to find balance in there, and remember the real world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally agree. But I think some people forget that at times.
Well, they live their whole lives on the internet and on social media. almost at the expense of their real lives. And they get so caught up into drama part. Those people cause that. A lot of these people online cause drama, and then they go home, they go to bed and stuff. They don't sit and stress over that. A lot of them that are causing a lot of drama right now. There's a lot of people on the internet causing drama. You can find it.
Yeah. A lot of toxicity on the internet. Yeah. And
But there's good stuff too.
these YouTube screeds can get pretty mean and nasty. And there is
People
great
with thin
stuff.
skin should not get on social media.
There's great stuff. Yeah, and you shouldn't be a streamer. You know.
No, no.
No. Um, let's see. Um, let's do the breaking news real quick here.
Hey, can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah.
Did you hear about this is in New York, but about the swan fae? Some kids killed swan fae.
Yes, I did see that. Killed it and ate it.
Killed her and ate her, and we're gonna raise her babies supposedly.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if it made the breaking news, but I did see the story. NBC News: Senate votes to overturn Biden's student loan relief program. I know that a lot of people are trapped in student debt and all of that, and I'd like to see people help, but I'm not. I don't know. I'm not 100% completely sold on student loan relief. Maybe it's because I paid off my student loans. The second
We owed
headline
student loans, and we were against it too.
The New York Times says Arizona limits construction around Phoenix as its water supply. The groundwater supply in Phoenix, Arizona, basically disappeared, and so now they've limited construction. Are you hearing about that down there?
I didn't hear anything about it.
Okay.
Do they know why it's disappearing?
They probably do, but they're not telling us, of course. Are there any? I know you guys have been getting a lot of storms. Are there any rumblings of potential water shortages in the areas?
I haven't heard. I know that the lake around here has been low, but I'm sure I don't know their patterns well enough here of rain and stuff. But we haven't been having any droughty like weather here, but it's rained off and on.
Okay. CNN: The White House says Biden is fine after tripping on a sandbag and falling on stage at the Air Force graduation. Did you know about that?
I heard about that. Yes, I did. I
Okay,
saw some
I
videos.
figured that was all over everywhere. Um, and good to know he's fine, and good
Mhm.
to know there was a sandbag there and he didn't just suddenly fall down. Um,
That was a
and
hard fall, though. I gotta
oh, it
say that
was. Oh,
for
yeah,
an old
yeah.
man,
I was
especially.
concerned. Yeah.
Yeah.
National Public Radio unions are relieved as the Supreme Court leaves the right to strike intact. Um, Supreme Court had a case in front of them that would made it illegal for unions to have work stoppages, kind of like forced labor. But ABC News: Structural engineer reported issues ahead of an Iowa building collapse, and Politico: Biden's debt ceiling balancing act get a deal done without crowing about it. So
Oh,
the
Granny
debt.
Sue said something down there. She said, "Can you see the comments down there?"
No, I can't. What's she saying?
She she said that their governor, Arizona governor, I think it was, just spent $40 million to secure our water. There was nothing on the news stating that.
What? I just closed it, but that was a reputable source.
I was just reading what she said. That's what.
Yeah, no, that's. I think that's. I think that's good to know. You know that people aren't finding out things that might be impacting them.
Well, I have a
Um,
question. Like mainstream media, we talked about social media. A lot of people are going to social media for their news now and for their
yeah,
information.
thank you all for clicking on those that do to watch the little news clips. That's what we, part of the thing we try to do. And I know that I know that people aren't coming here for in depth, hour long stories on whatever it is. So just a little bit, and if you want to know more, here's where I've got this. Find out more. But yeah, a lot of people, I get that a lot. Hey, don't forget to do a news. Do the news thing, because I've been going. I haven't been going 4 or 5 days a week.
Well, at least there's different though. We have to watch people. I always keep telling people watch people because there's people who tell you what to think, and then there's people who show you what happened, and there's two different classes of people. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and I see a lot of whether it's live streamers or internet personalities that restream or take clips of things, but they push a narrative all
Oh
so
yeah.
much, and it's dangerous. Both, and again, it's both sides, and so it's like they want to inflame people and get people upset about something.
Yeah. And there's enough to get upset about, and to potentially get inflamed over, just in reality, just with crap that's going on, without creating more, in my opinion anyway.
Mm-hmm.
um, some stories from Twitter. Actually, I just got a couple, I think. I may only have one. Here we go. Well, hang on. Technical difficulties. For some reason, my I don't know what's going on. My bookmark there. I was going to say my bookmarks aren't showing up. All right, we talked about this. We touched on this. Governor Youngkin, um, the ongoing border crisis facing our nation has turned every state into a border state. Virginia will do its part to assist Greg Abbott Texas efforts with the coordinated deployment of National Guard soldiers to assist in key aspects of their mission. So, people of uh, people of Virginia.
Uh-oh. There we go. Stand by. This is the American Doofus show. What happened to Doofus? Don't be an American Doofus. Where'd you go? Doofus, I don't know where you went, but I know what we could talk about next. Recreational cannabis. I don't know where he went. Doofus disappeared. I guess. I don't know. I don't know where Doofus went, but I'm sure he's trying to get his ass back here. When he comes back, here's what I'm going to ask him about recreational cannabis. So they have actually said that, I'm going to read this here so I know. Tuesday, the ATF released a clarification for gun owners because of Minnesota going recreational with cannabis. And they have made sure to let us know that until recreational cannabis is federally legalized, pot users cannot own guns. The Federal Gun Control Act of 1968 prohibits anyone who is an unlawful user of any controlled substance. And since marijuana is still federally considered a controlled substance, it would be anybody who smokes marijuana would not be able to, they would be, let me read here, prohibits anyone who is an unlawful user of any controlled substance from shipping, transporting, receiving, or possessing firearms or ammunition. And that's from the Federal Gun Control Act of 1968. So I'm not trying to cause like some kind of panic. I don't think they're coming for the guns, but that's, that is something that I think needs to at least be talked about, because you can't tell people that because they smoke weed or cannabis, whatever you want to call it, that they can't own guns. And I know it has affected some people on whether they want to register their guns and all that. So that was what I had to talk about. I'm going to look through the chat here, see if anybody heard that. I'm running the show. I know. I don't know what to do with his show. This is Barry's show. Always has been. MMJP, they say no guns. Okay. But it's not effective. Well, yeah. I remember reading on there, it says that you have to actually sign something when you register your gun or when you buy your gun, that you don't use marijuana. There are a lot of people who use marijuana, and so some people won't even get their medical cards, or they won't shop at a cannabis store. And so that's where they should be get from, to get the medical stuff, especially people who get, and there are very legitimate medical reasons to use marijuana. The government knows who uses weed every time you walk. Yes, every time you walk into a dispensary. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. And I know people, there's some people who are now not wanting to even go and buy their marijuana or from a dispensary or get their medical marijuana card, which is sad because we finally are legalizing it on the state level, but our federal government is still stuck in the past and keeping it illegal. So I don't know the answer to that, but it seems like we should be. I know Texas just tried to pass a bill, and actually the representative that did is from Fort Worth. I was thinking about trying to get to talk to her, because what happened is she put forward a bill that would at least help decriminalize here in Texas. They have very strict cannabis laws, and she was trying to help so that the medical users, it would encompass than what it already does encompass, because it's pretty strict on who can have what little bit of medical that they do have. And they just take it into their Senate or their House, and they just do nothing with it and let it die. They let the bill go and they just don't do anything. They did not do anything, to my knowledge, that I've seen before they had their I can't think what that's called now, not recession. Their session was over, and because they didn't address it, it's dead now. So what if a medical user is married to a gun owner? Then what? I don't know the ins and outs of it, but they have told people that they should check the laws and get lawyers. There have been some people who have kicked back on this. And so I think Texas people are actually exempt from this in a way, because Texas was one of the states that sued over this and put an injunction in place. But it doesn't encompass everybody. It only encompasses Texas, and I can't remember what the other group was. So it doesn't encompass everyone. So like the people in Minnesota who just got recreational, they will not be covered under that. So if you go there, technically you're not supposed to be, if you live there and you get your medical card or you smoke marijuana, you are not allowed to own a gun federally. Your state allows it, but not federal. Yes, it doesn't matter how many states decriminalize weed, as long as the federal government considers it an illegal Schedule One substance. Yes, and that's the problem. Which, and I'm just learning about politics really myself. But we've got our federal government, and then we've got our states that make decisions too. And so, like someone said, if you make it federal, it would be for all the states if you would decriminalize it at least. But because they have it on the federal, you can legally smoke it in your state, but you could still get in trouble with the federal government and even be arrested by the federal government for the very same thing. Texas is very, very strict here with their marijuana. There are different things that you can smoke. A lot of people will smoke like these kind of things that are like a Delta and different stuff that they've made legal here. But I have heard stories of people who have been arrested for very minuscule amounts, and also that the concentrates, if you smoke like this is not actually weed, but if you smoke like these cartridges with your THC in them, or any kind of like dab or anything that's not an actual bud, they will you'll get extra charges for that. They take that very seriously because your chemical nature or something. So just got his. We're planning on. Yes, it's federal. That's going to. There's always been a struggle, I think, between our federal government and our state government, and we're seeing a lot of that now. With a lot of different issues where the states are putting forth their rights. And we even see it on the border, like what I was saying with Barry. I thought the federal government was the one that was supposed to take care of the border, but then states have to take care of their state borders. So it can get mucky and confusing a little bit when it comes to who has the right, states or federal. That is how it is worded by ATF. They refuse to recognize state laws and rights. Only if it goes. Oh, hold on a second. I'm getting a message from Barry here. And then, I think Barry's battery died. Hold on a second. Let me look at his message. Give me a second here. I'll be right back. I got to look. Okay. Okay. Well, Barry lost the stream. His battery died. So he said, good night to everybody. And oh, now I have to do the ending to this, don't I? Oh no. Okay, so I got to do the ending of Barry's stream today. And he always says something that I really, really like, and it's be a light. It's a dark world out there. Try to be a light. I can't remember the rest of it. Oh, hey, Baldy. Yep. I can't remember all the shaloms. I know he says a lot of different stuff. He does like this. I can't do all that, but I can say peace. It's a dark world out there. Try to be a light. Night, everybody.